2, 1. From Boston, Massachusetts to Adelaide, Australia, and everywhere in between. Talking local and national sports and just about anything discussed in a tavern. Broadcasting from South Lyon, Michigan. Welcome to Easy Speak at Speakeasy 330 with your hosts, Rich and Tom.
Hey, what's up,
What
Tommy?
is going on?
Well, yeah, that was kind of messed up. As soon as I hit the button to go live, it all this stuff behind the scenes here, all these icons popped up and lost some feeds and everything like that, which is no big deal. I'll have to talk with some people to figure it out, and we'll get it though.
And you sound like a chipmunk right now, or a Smurf.
Do I really?
Yeah.
Do I really? Man, I tell you,
I'm waiting for Elvin, Simon, or Theodore to kick on the screen.
Man, we take a Jesus. Let me we take a day off, and that's what it is, huh?
Oh man. What is that? I might need to log off and come back on. So you start the show. I'll be back.
All right. So anyway, wow, if you want to talk about some technical difficulties today, it's probably more so on his end than it is on my end. But we got a lot to cover and not a lot of time. That's for sure.
It had a lot of big news come out this past week with U of M. We'll bring Tom back in here. There you are. Can you hear me now?
It's still the same.
Really?
What if you put your earbuds in?
Oh.
All right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and end the broadcast then, and maybe we'll try it again.
Let's start. Let's cut it and start over.
Well, let's hold on. Is that just what you're hearing, or is that what everybody's hearing? So whoever's on right now, can you please let me know if I sound like a chipmunk? I guess if it's me. Man, is it really that bad?
It's bad. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me?
No, Kevin said it's fine. Kevin's on here, and Kevin said you both sound fine. So,
maybe it's my feed. Let me.
It's probably you and that janky internet that you have.
It could be. All right, I'll try it on another level here. Hold on.
All right. So yeah. Anyway, so we'll kick him off right now. But yeah, so big news in Ann Arbor this week. Jim Harbaugh decided that it was time for him to quit messing around, quit being a dog and pony show, going from Minnesota twice to interview for the job, to come in and saying, "All right, Michigan, I'm back for round 2. You got me until you don't want me here anymore." And Tom will get on here in a minute and talk about it, but it didn't sit too well with a couple of the assistant coaches within the program. We can't really say anything about Mike McDonald because he had left prior to that. He went back to the Ravens. Brother John called him back home, so he came, spent a year, turned the defense around, really made him a great defense. Tom's popped back on here now. So here's Tom.
That's
Is it better?
That's
okay. It's got to be your internet. I tell you, it has to be your internet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. It might have been because I was using the phone. Now I switched to my iPad. So let's do it.
Yeah. So anyway, I started talking a little bit about U of M and everything that went down. Jim Harbaugh going interviewing in Minnesota, and the way he kind of played it out, it didn't sit well with the assistant coaches, especially Josh Gaddis, who announced this week that he is leaving the program for Miami. But on his way out, he had some very unfavorable text messages to the team.
Yeah.
He came out and said that he felt, I guess he didn't really come out and say he felt disrespected, but that's kind of what he was alluded to, is like, over this course of the last couple of weeks, I really found out my worth within the program. I don't know exactly what he was expecting, or maybe what he was told behind closed doors. They might have said, "Hey, if Jim decides to leave, if he decides to leave, the spot's yours." But the door is always open for Jim, and it got a kind of mixed reaction based on the events that came out. First of all, it came out that he likes to sleep with recruits' parents, moms, so,
Yeah.
and,
But
but that's,
I think it's funny to me that you hear things like that after the fact. Like that didn't matter prior to him leaving. That now
yeah.
gone all of a sudden. Let's bring out the dirt on the guy. Let's kick the guy when he's down. And that, to me, that's so typical of Michigan. And in going through a lot of like the Twitter comments and whatnot about Gaddis,
it was mixed. I mean, there were some people that were like, "Hey, you know what? It's a great opportunity for you to fetch a bigger payday." And essentially, that is what he's doing. He's going to Miami, not Miami, Ohio. As much as I'd like to say it might have been Miami, Ohio, but he's going to the U. He's getting a substantial pay raise, but you're going into a position to where that program is essentially a dumpster fire. We thought this past year that they were going to come out and they were going to be great, and they absolutely got throttled by just about everybody decent.
You watch out, though. They've got a new coach. They've got the Oregon's coach. He's their new head coach, who's a Miami grad, and don't be surprised if within 2 to 3 years they're right in the thick of things again, like they used to. So for Gaddis to go to Miami, that's a pretty good move for him to make. Yeah, he's getting.
It's a lateral move.
Yeah, Cristobal is the name of the coach. So
yeah, but it's kind of one of those things that he was probably upset because he probably wasn't even in the discussions for a replacement for Harbaugh in the case.
Well, my theory is all the 2 to 3 days leading up to that Wednesday when Harbaugh was interviewing, it's a shoo-in. He's gonna sign a contract. So my theory is Ward Manuel probably approached him and said, "Hey, you'll probably be the next guy up, or
the front runner."
Yeah, and when it was decided that Minnesota won, it turned out of the 9 people in the deciding factor for Minnesota, there was only one that Minnesota wanted nothing to do with Jim Harbaugh. So, and the
ownership didn't want anything to do with him.
Nope. The Wilf, Ziggy Wilf, they said we don't want nothing to do with them. So for him to pick up a phone and call Ann Arbor to say, "I'm not going anywhere. My loyalty is here," and Michigan pretty much was like, "Okay, welcome back." I think that was a kick in the ass for guys. And to me, it's just another long list of things that Harbaugh's done in his almost 8 years with the program that has been a head scratcher.
Yeah, but so hold on. So you're saying that the blame of all this falls on Harbaugh, huh?
I just think his arrogance, as far as just assuming that he was going to retain his position. He flew to Minnesota with the intentions of signing him.
Yeah, but he was still under contract with Michigan for one more season, wasn't he?
He has a $0 buyout. He can leave whenever he wants.
Yeah, so you can't blame the guy for even entertaining that because going back to the NFL, obviously it's a huge step up. Obviously, Michigan is not an Alabama, not a Georgia, not a powerhouse. They're a good school, not a powerhouse. No. So for him to go out and get offers like that, and obviously he got permission from Ward Manuel to even entertain this, because that's kind of one of those things is like, I mean, if you think about it this way, it's really not apples to apples. It's more of like apples to oranges. But if you look at how Brian Kelly did it, he kind of went behind Notre Dame's back, secured himself another job. It leaked out.
Did Harbaugh? I mean, I've heard mixed signals. I've heard that he pretty much did it on his own, never told anybody. Then I heard he mentioned it to some recruits that he might be leaving. But here's the point that I want to make as far as Harbaugh in his timing. It was signing day, and you're on an airplane heading to Minnesota you think you're going to sign a contract in the NFL. I mean, that's a kind of a big fuck you to a lot of the recruits that he spent, the better part of 2 to 3 years recruiting. And, so what does that say in the future to a kid who's maybe in 11th, 12th grade thinking about Michigan, that, I'm going to go there because I want to, go there because of Coach Harbaugh. He might not be there. I just think it's a bad look for Harbaugh, one of many. And everyone that watches the show, listens to the show, knows my opinion of Harbaugh. He can kick rocks as far as I'm concerned. His assistants got him where they were this year, and the 2 best ones left. So that tells you where the program's going.
Well, speaking of assistants, I talked while you were figuring out your internet situation and your login stuff, but I did touch that. We got a new defensive coordinator coming in to replace Mike McDonald, who went back, who Papa John Harbaugh called him back to. So they signed, Jesse Minter,
who's another Baltimore Raven.
Yeah. So I think that he will be able to, I guess, almost maintain the kind of defensive structure that they had last year. I guess the familiarity with it, because obviously it seems like he was the good fit for them.
Well, it's a good time if you're going to replace your defensive coordinator. It's because they're losing pretty much the heart and soul of their defense that they had last year. So he'll be able to work with a lot of new bodies, a lot of new kids coming in. So it's probably a good time for him. Not a big fan of where he just came from, Vanderbilt. So, but
everybody's got to start somewhere, right?
It's an SEC school, so he'll be able to try to work with the speed aspect of the game. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. And then they've got Sharon as the new offensive coordinator, who was the offensive line coach last year. So as far as that's concerned, that looks good in their behalf, because their offensive line is pretty much all coming back, and they'll be one of the highest touted lines in America. So the big question for him is it going to be JJ or Cade? I think that's the big, $64,000 question around these parts is, does Cade stay? Is JJ going to be the guy? JJ tweeted out the other day, or went on Instagram, said he's a Michigan Wolverine. He will be for the entirety of college career. So there's a part of me that says that David been in his ear saying you're going to come into the spring game as a number 1.
Yeah, that could be true. That, or he just might be, Michigan, homer through and through. So, So since we're talking about coaches, it's it's nice to know that the Detroit Lions will be, for the most part, retaining their defensive coordinator, which I'm very thrilled about, because I think I think Aaron Glenn did a great job
with not a lot.
Who's there? Who
with a lot of guys that probably wouldn't be on an NFL roster in this.
I'm trying to think who's the defensive backs coach, because that guy, he has done some great. I mean, if, in all reality, if he would have left and went and jumped ship to go anywhere else, because he was interviewing for the Saints job. Am I correct?
Yes, and he was at the point. He was one of the front runners.
So if he would have left, the guy, what the hell is his name? What the heck is his name? What are you looking at? Richard Bernstein.
I'm looking him up.
Oh,
The Lion.
oh, yeah, Sharon or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So, look what he did to the secondary for them. Given that he hit
Aubrey Pleasant.
What's that? Pleasant, yeah, Pleasant. He did a great job with his defensive backfield. Obviously, I can't really give a fair assessment on Jeff Okuda right now because he hasn't played enough games for you to determine how well he would have been this year. We were hoping it was going to be kind of a turning point to where, given the model that they said, we are going to have the players play where their strengths are. Obviously, when it was under Patricia, or that other regime, as we're going to call it, they didn't do that. They say they were acting like the smartest guys in the room. This is what you're running. This is what's going to work. Yeah. Obviously, it doesn't work. Mm-mm. So I think that he would have been if Aaron Glenn would have if he was fortunate enough to get the position, I think he would have been a great guy to step in and fill that void. Kind of like how they parted ways with the OC, offensive coordinator at the Off Center podcast,
Anthony, who now is the offensive coordinator in San Francisco, which he won't have to do anything. He won't be calling plays there either.
No, he's pretty much the guy that's going to run the meetings. But they ended up promoting within, which is kind of good. I'm a big fan of showing appreciation to those who have been there when it comes to teams and kind of working your way up through the system. So Ben Johnson, he was the tight ends coach. He's going to step in.
Who supposedly he was a big reason why MCDC kind of had some success towards the season. They worked hand in hand on the offensive side. Pretty much it was Ben Johnson and Campbell, not really Anthony Lynn. So that seemed like a no-brainer for him to step into that role. The players loved him. And when you have a team with young talent, and this goes back to with Aaron Glenn sticking around as the DC, those are young guys, and to have a coach another season with the same system, we'll say, I think that bodes well for them because they'll be able to come into this season, knowing what to expect, knowing what their place is. So with Ben Johnson getting that, my hope is he starts to implement more of a tight end scheme to get Hawkinson more involved. But we'll see. I mean, a lot of that starts with the run game, and that's where it starts and ends. So we'll see.
Yeah, the game is. You and I, we've talked about this on a lot of occasions. The game is won and lost in the trenches. It starts at that line, and that's it. So, they promoted within. There was also talk that maybe former Bears coach Matt Nagy was on the radar to come in. Me personally, like I just said a few seconds ago, I'm a firm believer and a fan of moving up within and then backfilling. Right. Everybody deserves a chance. Everybody deserves a shot. So, no disrespect to Matt Nagy, but I'm kind of glad that they stuck with in-house.
To me, that tells me that the notion going into next season is Campbell's going to call plays. And any established coordinator, specifically a coordinator that's been a head coach in the NFL, doesn't want anything to do with a team that you're not going to be involved in the play calling. So I think Nagy knew that going in. And that's another reason why they went with Ben Johnson, because Campbell's going to call plays, and he proved to be a worthy play caller as the season went on. Early on, specifically that Steeler game, which I think he single-handedly lost the game for him with his stupid play calling. But as the season progressed, he got a lot better. And to bring Nagy in, it'd be another Anthony Lynn situation, just kind of a scapegoat position. So you give a guy some experience at that position, and who knows where it might lead him down the road.
Yeah, and then since we're talking about the Lions a little bit and everything like that, the draft is coming up. The Lions were fortunate again to be down their first hand to run the practices and kind of really get an in-depth look
Mhm.
at those that are coming into the draft. I know you got Aiden Hutchinson is going to be at the combine. Thibodeau. Reports are saying that he might not even go. He might not even test. I think that
That's a big problem. Unless he's going to work out on a pro day. The more and more I hear about this guy, I don't want anything to do with him. I really hope they don't go that route.
I mean, the guy, he's got the attributes. That's one of the things. So. Malik Willis is Malik Willis is another name that's getting out there, and people are nuts. They're like second pick overall. No, So, but with the second pick, there's also people saying that Kyler Murray has decided to pretty much delete everything that is Arizona Cardinals related off any social media. I mean, which. Who really knows? Who really cares? He might finally realize, hey, you know what? I need to keep my personal stuff personal, and I need to keep my business stuff business stuff. There's players that do that. But there's also
last year with the Bears, he pulled the Bears off all his social media, and then he made like references to Detroit, Motor City, and so there was a lot of buzz. And hey, there's a Kyler Murray commercial right there. There was a lot of buzz that he would end up in Detroit. But with Kyler Murray, what I don't like about it is, yeah, he had a terrible second half of the season. And his playoff game, he looked like he was on another planet. Just delete your social media. Don't do that kind of thing to speculate, to put the coaches in a situation where now they're going to have to answer that. Management answer that. I just think it's a bad look for Murray. And if you're trying to just move past that debacle playoff game, just delete your social media. Work it out.
It's not even that it's a debacle. It's just kind of one of those things is like you send mixed signals, and then you also create drama and uncertainty within. They could say, you know what, screw this guy. Trade him for a bucket of baseballs to whoever.
So my question here is,
no.
Say the Cardinals say, give me your number 2, your second first round. Give me your number 2 and number 3 for Kyler Murray. I mean, there's going to be some teams calling Arizona because he still has a lot in the tank. I mean,
it ain't going to be Detroit. Would you really honestly consider blowing up a rebuild for Kyler Murray?
For a quarterback in his third year, that's really not blowing anything up.
No, but what you're saying, do you think they're just going to say, give us Jared Goff, which they wouldn't want anyways, in our second round pick? They're going to want draft picks because if they're going to get rid of Kyler Murray, they're going to go into a rebuild.
I mean, he was a number 1 pick, so he still has value. So yeah, there's going to be, and the good thing for Murray and the Cardinals, you look at the Saints, they need a quarterback. You look at Seattle, they're going to need a quarterback. The Giants are probably going to be looking for a quarterback. Tampa needs a quarterback. So there's a lot of positions. There's a lot of teams in the NFL that are probably right now willing to overspend for somebody like Kyler Murray in hopes that, they can, maybe get the talent that he showed, especially in the first half of the season. So, I mean, to me, I think that was his way of saying, get me the hell out of here. I don't want to be here anymore. So coming up to this draft, it's going to be interesting to see, if Arizona, plays the game or if they just sit back and let things play out.
That guy can go anywhere but Detroit because I do not. For me, no, I don't. I don't think. I think they did a good job of last year of blowing it up per se. They went and they said, you know what? Stafford wanted to leave. That's fine. We'd rather we'd rather get as much as we can for you before we can get nothing for you.
Right.
Kyler Murray's got 1 year left on his deal.
Which and in the NFL, your last year usually contract wise, those are big years. So for a team looking for, I mean, Tampa, for example, they've got the pieces. They just need the quarterback.
I think Tennessee would be a good spot for him too, because Tennessee is. But then again, I don't think Tannehill is terrible. I think he's a great game manager.
Yeah,
he's not flashy. He's not gonna. He ain't killing anybody with his arm. He ain't killing anybody with his legs.
He's good for a throw or two in the game that might wow you. Go from 40 or more, but. Yeah, he's the type of quarterback, just as long as you don't make mistakes and you ride Derrick Henry, that's your success. And that's what, unfortunately, Henry was off, 8-9 weeks, and he was a bit rusty. So playoff came, I mean, he was a non-factor, but you can see Cincinnati weren't going to be stopped. But so no, I mean, there's all those hot little rumors going around that Aaron Rodgers is building a house in Franklin, Tennessee. Everybody lives in Franklin, Tennessee. That is one of the most highfalutin areas in the country. So to say that, he's going to end up in Tennessee because he's building a house in Franklin.
Hey, as Jim Price would say, nice area.
Very nice area.
It's a nice area.
Very nice.
So anyway, the draft, they got some mock drafts that are up and everything like that. There's a big hope by some sports memorabilia collectors after this last weekend. Can you hear me? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Over this last weekend, there was 2 weekends ago, there was Thibodeau was in town doing a signing at one of the local sports memorabilia places. So I'm sure there's a lot of those homers that were standing in line that were buying Lions mini helmets, thinking that he was. I mean, they'd love to see him at second. But there is talk that the Jaguars, their biggest asset on their team right now is who? Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, who can't stay on his feet.
Well, he can't stay on his feet. Why? It's because he doesn't have a line that blocks for him to keep him upright.
Who would look good in a uniform? Evan Neal, the left guard from Alabama. He's like 9'8", weighs about 750 pounds. The guy, he's an absolute beast. So if you want your prized possession that really didn't look so hot last year to continue his career, the best move is for them to draft Evan Neal, not Aiden Hutchinson, but we'll see new coach in there. With Doug Peterson. So, Doug Peterson's a quarterback and so he's going to look at the situation and think the wise choice probably is to go with Neal. So that kind of puts it right in our lap.
Yeah. You definitely have to do what you can do to protect, your franchise, for all intents, it's the franchise. You have to protect the franchise. And the only way you're going to do that is by doing what? What does Rich always say?
You win the trenches.
In the trenches. You got to do it.
The hot little rumor that I've heard the last couple of days is Taylor Decker's name's been brought up in potential trade propositions. There's a lot of teams that want to move up to get into that 2 spot. Detroit's got a lot of leverage. I think they love that corner or the safety out of Notre Dame, Hamilton, but at 2, that doesn't make sense. There's and then
I think the last couple of times we drafted anybody that early that was in the backfield, it wasn't favorable for us. So just put it that way.
But I mean, there's going to be a lot of calls for, and I know you don't think so, but I think there's going to be some teams calling for Jared Goff. It cap wise, it makes sense for both teams that would take him on. The Lions would be able to gain a lot of cap.
But he's got $30 million. Isn't his deal like $30 million this year?
Something like that. But it's over.
Nobody.
So
what's that?
It's it. After this year, they can get rid of him. So a team like Tampa, and we've kind of had our disagreements at that. I think Goff would look really good with Tampa Bay They have the run game, and they have a really good receiver core. And I think he'd be a good fit. So there's going to be some teams calling.
Yeah, but
bottom line,
they're not going to get rid of him.
The bottom line for Detroit, you need an edge rusher, and I've kind of flip flop back and forth, really looking at it, thinking about it. You got to go get that guy that will impact defense. A TJ Watt. I mean, there isn't a better edge rusher in the NFL. Nick Bosa. Those guys are game changers. You have to game plan for them, which makes your secondary defense look even better. So it's a no-brainer. It's Aiden Hutchinson. End of story. To me, that's what they had. That's a need and it's a want at the same time.
I like Aiden Hutchinson. I just don't like him for Detroit.
I mean, you need other pieces around. He'll need a complimentary somebody on the other end, but that Harris guy who came in toward the end of the season, he really turned it up. So if you match those two together, that could be a special unit.
Yeah, but here, he's a good player. He's a good player. The only thing is sometimes when you have a local talent,
Mateen, please.
Charles Rogers,
Yep.
you have a local guy, you have a local talent.
You drink the Kool-Aid.
The expectation is like so up there that I want to see him succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want him to come to Detroit and then be a bust, because then you live in the area, you're from the area, you'll be known as a bust. You won't be known for how great you are at Michigan. You won't be known for how great you were at Divine Child.
Mm-hmm.
You won't.
Yeah. To me,
there's that bum from the Lions,
Yeah. Well, after the Georgia game, I had some concerns. But, looking at a lot of the Mel Kipers and the McShays in the world that basically said Georgia game plan for him. They were not going to allow Hutchinson to be a factor. And if you look at Stetson Bennett, a lot of the plays that he ran, he was taking the snap and he was going off. He was going offside. So he was paying attention to where Hutchinson was. And he was getting rid of the ball really fast. So it kind of kept Hutchinson under wraps. They were doubling him. The player that really concerned me the most was Ojabo, why he wasn't on the field and run plays. And they've got him speculated to go pretty high. He's the one that might have a little bit of a question mark. But as far as Hutchinson, I think given the right situation, the right coaching, is there a homer aspect? Sure. But how many players have come around these parts that are born and bred in Michigan, went to Michigan or Michigan State, that are legitimate, All-American players, that are legitimate players that are top 5 draft picks that you followed for years. And we don't see that too often. So, to have a guy who is the consensus best player in the draft, which a lot of them think, it's pretty cool, and a chance for them to maybe get their hands on him and have him keep having success in Michigan with the Lions. That's even cooler. So we'll see.
Yeah. So there's a lot of notes on here, so I don't want to hit all, because I want to still want to hop on Sunday and get the fellas from iLogic and
Uday?
Yeah, from get the guys from iLogic, get the guys from River City on and stuff like that. But the Super Bowl's coming up. Some of the most ridiculous things that I've seen with the Super Bowl is the unbelievable astronomical prices of tickets for the game. However, you got to think of it this way. Look where it's at. It's in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
Where's a lot of the money at? Los Angeles. So you got that going.
Did you happen to see they had each team had a pep rally right before they left? So the Bengals had a pep rally at Paul Brown Stadium. Place was packed, going crazy. And it looked like the Rams had a pep rally at the local high school. And there was like one bleachers full. I mean, it just goes to show you, yeah, they play in LA, but the fans are fake. And most of them are probably, St. Louis Ram fans or fans from way back in the day. But the majority of the fans, I mean, look, they tried their best to keep 49er fans out last week or 2 weeks ago. Didn't work. It still was about 60% 49er fans. So LA, Ram, Chargers, they're all bootleg. Fuck the Rams. I don't give a shit about Stafford. I hope he throws 3 picks for all I care. He doesn't play here. Why people are so infatuated with Matt Stafford and thinking they got to root for the Rams because he played here for 12 years? He didn't do shit here in 12 years.
Hey.
Prove me otherwise. I don't.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna let everybody know that's watching right now, or anybody that's listening right now, that you are a proud owner of a Detroit Rams shirt.
Oh no, I am not.
Dude, how ridiculous is that?
I'm sorry. You need to be slapped in the back of the head if you sport that. I saw a flag flying around. Give me a break. Come on. I mean, he did good things in the community. He raised his family. It was fun. No, he did not have a good team around him. The organization sucked. He got put in a very good situation with a good coach, with a team that bought in. They don't have a first-round pick for like 4 years. So they better win the Super Bowl. So to put Stafford to say, oh, he's had an okay year. He's been good. He's also surrounded with unbelievable talent. So if he can't win in LA, then there you go.
All right. So a couple things that I want to touch on before we get ready to walk out. First thing is the trade deadline's coming up soon in the NBA.
Tomorrow.
A lot of deals have already went down. There's been some talk that James Harden has pretty much said that he wants out.
Yeah.
Possibly looking at I think they said a 3-team or 4-team trade.
Well, it's going to have to be that. There's too much money involved.
And then you got that one. The asking price for is it Jeremy Grant from the Pistons? The Pistons are like, we want 2 first-rounders. And as much as I hate, listen to the, I was listening to the local sport, the number 1 rated sports show in Metro Detroit, also known as the only Metro Detroit sports show today. And I normally never agree with the guy. Normally never in a million years agree with the guy, but I actually agree with it today. He says, listen, he goes, I don't want 2 first-round draft picks from somebody. He said the reason why is because if you are not picking within the top, if you're not picking within the top 5, if you got a 24th pick, he goes, it's the equivalent to drafting in the 6th round of the NFL draft.
Yeah, it's true.
They never pan out.
They're never going to play. I mean, the Pistons need NBA ready talent. They need players that are somewhat proven, young. You don't want to bring in an old guy. Grant, he's not that old, but in the eyes of the NBA, he's been around a while. So that asking price tells me they're not moving him, and I think that's a huge mistake because he wants a mega deal at the end of the season. He's a good player. He's a nice player. He's a good 2-way forward. At 4 years, $120 million. Come on.
Nope.
Give me a break. It's one of the many reasons why the NBA is so watered down. Because all these players get mega contracts that are guaranteed. They get their deal, and then they hit the bricks. So Troy Weaver's been pretty fun to watch in the last 2 years to see him spin deals. But this could be a black mark on his resume if he doesn't move him. I mean, there's teams that need him. I mean, the Lakers are sitting out there like begging for help. I think you could get some capital from the Lakers. I think you could get some players from the Lakers. But as far as like big time names that are going to get moved, Russell Westbrook, he might get cut. He might.
I don't want him. He's terrible.
I mean,
I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's worse, his game or the way he dresses.
He's his attitude. He's not a team guy. I mean, he's a point guard who averages about 23 points a game. I don't want that for my point guard. When they brought him into LA, it was like, there's too many egos here. How is he going to fit? There's not enough room in the now crypto arena for that headspace that they've got in there. So that's a big problem.
Hey, kudos to you for calling it crypto and not Staples.
Yeah. LeBron wants out of LA. He wants to go back to Cleveland. And if I'm Daniel, right here, LeBron.
No, he don't want to go back to Cleveland.
Oh,
he wants to ride it out, and he wants to play with Bronny.
But there's rumors that he's made comments that he likes the way the Cavs are, and they're in the playoffs right now. They're young. They've done it right. They've drafted well in the last 3 years, and they've got Love, little veteran leadership. So there's a team that could make some noise in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Damn well he wants to get back into that. Come in and be the hero, even though he can't win without a side hustle. So, but yeah. Harden, I've heard. Durant, I've heard. The Nets need to get broken up because there's another team that too much talent, not enough room, and you still need to be able to play team basketball. When you have 5 guys on the court that all want the ball and they all want the spotlight, doesn't work out too well most of the time.
Yeah. All right, and then one more thing. Well, the Wings are winning right now. Just give you a heads up, 4-3.
Yeah,
you're probably watching it.
4-3.
Still, we have absolutely no movement on the baseball front. Baseball is at a standstill.
Mm-hmm.
The two sides are so far apart from the last mediator that they had. They're so far apart from each other that I'm going to be really honest with you. If this goes long, baseball is imploding itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, attendance is already down. A lot of that is, a situation with basketball. There's no salary cap. You have these teams like the Dodgers that just throw money at everything. The Yankees, they just throw money at everything. Now the Mets, they're just throwing money. Boston. If you're a smaller market team like, the Royals, the Tigers, in all reality, they're kind of a small market team. You don't have a snowball's chance in hell of making any noise in a potential October run. So it with a lot of these fan bases, if they're not winning by June, July, I'm out. Bye. There's no interest in, and it's just baseball barely survived the lockout back in the 90s. I don't see it. I think they've got, what are we at, the second week of February? They've got another week and a half to make a deal, or I think there's serious chances of no season this year. And baseball will be dead. It'll be completely dead.
It's the thing is the baseball, the owners make a lot of money.
So do the players.
Well, the owners make a lot of money. Even when there's nobody in the stands, they make a lot of money. In the last couple of years, the owners, in doing free agency like that, there's players that there's no big deals. The only way that this year there was big deals this year is because they knew what was happening. So the last couple of years, they've kind of undervalued. The players know.
Yeah.
They undervalued, players, and players that want to, they want to play, so they'll sign for less. But then you got, this year was it Corey Seager for like 300 and some odd ball.
Well, the Rangers, Seager and the shortstop in Toronto. What was his name?
Marcus Semien.
Simeon, who up until last year, I mean, he played with the White Sox. He played with Oakland. He was a shortstop talent-wise, defensively. He's not worth the money that Texas threw at him. But, I mean, owners don't want a long-term deal because, I mean, you look at the Miggy deal. You look at a lot of those super contracts, those 7 to 10-year deals. They were banking on winning now. And with the Tigers, when they went and signed Miggy for that extension, that was in hopes of that 2 to 3 year window that they might win a World Series. But the reality was they didn't make it. They didn't get the World Series, and now they're stuck with a has-been, broken down first baseman that, he has flashes in the pan every now and again. But I think as ownership looks at that, they're like, I don't want to give these mega deals. But then on the flip side, the players look at it as how much money these teams are making with the TV deals. That Fox is in the mix. You got ESPN in the mix, and the Valley Sports, the local entities. There's a lot of money to be made in that regard, and I think the players feel like they don't get a portion of that. They want their hand in that, which I don't know how I feel about that, especially when you're a pitcher making $30 to $40 million a year to really play once a week competitively. I think that's asking a whole lot of compensation when you're already being highly compensated. But the reality is, I mean, they're on each side's on one end of the coast, and it doesn't seem like they're going to meet in the middle. And I think the fans ultimately are going to pay the price. But hey, guess college baseball
Yeah.
coming around, so that might be something to look forward to. But I mean, it's greed. Bottom line, it's greed. Greed never pans out, no matter what angle you're looking at, and the fans are going to suffer. Bottom line, the kids, and because kids are looking at this, and I think they're going to turn their back to baseball, and they already have started. They've already started, and I don't know if they'll come back.
All right. Well, yeah, I agree with you on that. So anyway, yeah, we're running up against time and like that. So let's plan on Sunday morning getting together. I'll make some calls and make some texts or whatever. We'll make it happen for Sunday morning.
Yeah.
We'll do a little Super Bowl action and everything like that. I want to say what's up to Swingle for checking in tonight with us.
The second annual Easy Speak Super Bowl, or the Superb Owl extravaganza. So yeah, that'll be something to look forward to. Get your predictions in. Get your what do they call that? Those prop bets. See, who's going to win the coin toss? How many times is Eminem and Dr. Dre going to get bleeped out at the halftime show? Which, by the way, this could be the biggest and best halftime show in the history of the Super Bowl. Not with the Prince one. That was pretty awesome when Prince was in did the halftime show. But who that grew up in the 90s isn't looking forward to this Sunday just for the halftime?
Yeah, exactly. So cool, man. Well, anyway, we'll check back in on Sunday.
All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Sunday.
Take it easy.